Hello friends, I'm here today because I wanted to talk about this commission that I did. It's actually, believe it or not, this is the first commission I've ever done. I've drawn a lot throughout my life, I have a good understanding of art, but I've never had the courage to really try someone else's idea or try to do what I like. So I want to talk about this piece I made because it's actually one that I really enjoy. So I think the best way to look at this is as a whole, like this. You can zoom into it, we're gonna be doing that. This type of video is just some sort of director's commentary for this piece that I made. I would like to do this more in the future. They're not gonna be very complicated videos. It's just gonna be my voice and me going over the different components of this piece. So, I think there might be 20 layers on this image alone. So basically, the commissioner, Wahei, shoutouts to Wahei, he was showing me this game, GunZ, that he plays a lot. I know that he plays it. We're in like the same social circles and everything. So I know that he plays GunZ, but I didn't really know a lot about it. And he saw my art and he really wanted to commission some GunZ fan art in this style. And in order to do that, he was sending me different assets from the game. So as you can see right here, these are the impact bullets. So this is like someone is shooting at our character here. And then there's some more that kind of fade out into the distance. And this is the bullets that are coming from our character right here. And she's also wearing a pirate hat, which Wahei let me know is one of the oldest hats that you can have from some of the oldest members of the GunZ community. And this frame right here, this like 30-degree angle shotgun, I was having a little bit of trouble with this when I was first drawing it, just because I wasn't really, I was kind of in a hurry, and when I drew the concept, it didn't look quite right, and then Wahei let me know that didn't look quite right, so I looked at it again, and her eye kind of lines up, is looking down at this gun in this specific frame. This frame is very important to the movement of guns, by the way. There's only one where it kind of looks like this, almost like she's holding the gun sideways, like this doesn't really make a lot of sense in a real-world perspective kind of way, but there's just one where the gun's kind of clipping through her hand, and that's like the coolest frame in my opinion, because it just shows like your movement. And this game has very high APM. So a lot of what I wanted to do was really get the motion going, all these lines, and you know, they might seem really scratchy, like they don't have a purpose, but they 100% do. All these lines have a purpose. Like, this is the dash to like the left that you go. That's what she's doing. She's dashing in towards the left, and that's sort of what you see when you play GunZ a lot. To those of you who don't play GunZ, is you're dashing into the left, but also it's like an upwards and a sideways motion, so that makes this really interesting shape that I saw, just like in my head, of like the motion of going left and also up at the same time. So there's a lot of interesting parts of this little movement you can see right here. I really like to be generous with my line work, because when I'm drawing motion, I really want people to get involved in many different parts of it. Like right down here, I did all these spirals because it's like the smoke from the mist bullets, and I also did some more spirals, just almost like a ripple effect of the bullets hitting the ground, kind of like when you drop a pebble in water, except this is solid ground. It's just more to draw your eyes in and to really show that like there's a ground to this world. And all this smoke. I like this smoke effect a lot. This is also another asset from the game, and this hit lettering. This is also as close as I wanted to get to the font as possible without just like stealing, you know? I also didn't really want to make the colors too complicated. I'm very strict on my color scheme when I draw something. I'm very strict. And this game's kind of older, so this little shotgun smoke cloud right here, I didn't want to make it too complicated. I really wanted the line work to kind of create this shadowy effect, and also to keep this like high contrast color of the white so that it just like kind of pops a little bit more. And up here, it's a little bit hard to tell just because of these angel wings, but the test footage that Wahei sent me for the impact of the bullets, he was like moving around on just like a plain map, just so I could see, and I decided to, you know, put all these little bullets, if you can see my little brush cursor right here, hello, you can kind of see that it goes all the way back. It doesn't just stop right here, it just goes all the way back, and it even goes up to the wall right here. So I wanted there to be like some kind of spiraling motion, if you can see it. I don't know if you can really see that. It's a little bit hard to tell, but I wanted to incorporate that just because when you play these types of games, it's not 100% perfect. It's not a game where it's like all the hit markers are always on the ground, or it's like sometimes you just get stuff like clanging on the wall, and it's very hard to see. You usually have to have a trained eye for that sort of thing, and that I have a lot of familiarity with older shooters, so I wanted to do a little bit of that. But obviously our big angel wings here, I really like this. Something unfortunate about the program that I use GIMP to draw, just because it's free and it's good enough for me. You don't have to use GIMP, but I do. I did like a dodge effect with like a pink background, which is why, you know, this is very pink. This symbol shows up, these angel wings. They show up when you have a kill streak, I believe. And I think the more kills you get, like, the more, like, special effects you'll get, like, all over your screen, which is pretty common in games nowadays. I know I played Team Fortress 2 a lot, and you could get, like, upgrades to your weapons, your custom weapons. But in this game, you get them if you're cooking. And I like games like that. I like games that reward you visually. And this color scheme here, it's gonna sound ridiculous. Some of my commentary, by the way, just for anyone watching, some of my commentary might sound really silly. Just because of the way that I view art is very specific, and it's very, I don't know, pretentious. I think it's okay to be a pretentious artist as long as you're making something you're proud of. So the colors that I chose, I'm gonna get out of tab mode here, just so you can start to see the bits and bobs of my piece here. I guess I did less than 20 layers. Here's my color palette layer. I had some notes and everything, but if we were to hide just everything, and hide this right here, this is all the colors that I used. I actually had a dream about this brown and this red, and when Wahei was showing me something he was making on W Place, which might still be a thing by the time I upload this video, I have no idea. I don't know any of that stuff. I had a dream about these two colors, okay? This is a red, and this is kind of like a greenish brown, and it's a color scheme that's very popular in older pixel art, and then I just decided for my colors to pop, I just did like a purple and a yellow, and then this purple was kind of a last decision that I made in terms of color. This was like my goal. I wanted my brown to be like my base, and I always start with, I don't start with outlines, I try to start with colors first, just because I'm starting to figure out more if I draw a figure first, and then start working off of that, like working backwards, I make things that are a lot more emotional to me, if that makes sense. I don't want these videos to be too long. This is just for people who are really interested in my art, and want to hear what I have to say. So, if I go look at the sketch here, this is the sketch of what I was trying to do. Honestly, when you have very few lines on the screen, you can almost see the motion that I'm trying to do better, but that's what makes this style that I draw, and it makes it challenging, is I have to figure out how to build up the value and to get what I want from just my line work alone. So here it is one more time, just no sketch, and then my sketch. Just no sketch, and my sketch. I think the quality of my art also really depends on how good my sketch is. you can kind of see that I gave up on, like, I have these perspective lines, but they're not very important to the overall image. I just tried to make sure I vaguely followed it. I wasn't trying to be very strict with myself. If I ever restrict myself too much with art, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I just want to make what I want to make. So it makes me very happy that Wahei was so happy with this, because I really just did what I wanted. And honestly, even without the text, I like this picture a lot. I really do. Even if I hide the wings, which I made out of several different layers, I wanted the little glow effect to look better than just this. It didn't really translate to the Photoshop file that I sent for some reason. I don't know why. I'm not gonna worry about it too much, but I had to do some little shapes in the background of the wings because they just didn't look right when it was just plain old glow. It's very bright red on the left. I think it's really distracting, so I decided to just go in with some white on a layer and just ease it up a little bit, because it's supposed to all be together. It's not really supposed to be so harsh that it's interrupting the flow of the image. But if I hide these angel wings, I even like it like this. If it were just this, if I didn't like my outlines, I would have done this, but I do like my outlines, so I'm actually going to keep them. But if I hide this, it takes a second because this is a big file, you can kind of see what I was going for here. I didn't do a lot with this area just because I knew the wings were gonna be there, and I don't know. If I truly finished this, I would add a little bit more red to balance this out, or maybe make it more white, just to keep this image going. You know, I wanted to make this more of an abstraction. I really like... I like when you stand far away from something and it really makes sense. Because when you start zooming in here, it still kind of makes sense, because I was trying to be very delicate with the way that I led you into my image. You can see all these extra, you know, my line work is very rough, I guess. It's very rough. I wanted it to have a lot of feeling when I was doing it everywhere. I wanted every part of this to have some feeling. And I just really wanted the motion, the movement of it to be emphasized. So this is the first piece I've really made like this. Here's what it looks like without all the assets. And then back to... Let me unhide a few of these things here. But back to the final image. If you would like access to these files, if you would like to break it down for yourself, if you would like to support me on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/c/Spinda with a 1 instead of an I. I think I could probably talk about this for 20 minutes, but just for the sake of myself, I will not be doing that. I will just be showing off my artwork that I've made. This took me 3 days, not 3 straight days, because I work full-time. But I would say the first day that I started this, I think I spent like 6 hours a session. So this was kind of a hefty piece for me, but I really liked making it, and any time that I was feeling tired or like I had made enough progress on it, I really didn't rush myself. I have to make progress on it because someone's, you know, paid me to make it. But yeah, I'm very happy with this, and shoutouts if you're from the GunZ community, shoutouts to you, because being from the Melee community, I understand what it's like to be a part of a community for a very long time with a lot of history and a lot of emotion behind your game. Like, the game might look like... Let me see here. The game might look a certain way, it might look confusing, the graphics might not be the best, but I know, of all people, that does not define what the game is. It's what you feel when you play it, it's all the components that come together that really make you feel something when you play these games for so long and what keeps us coming back to them. So I really wanted this piece to try to invoke that sort of emotion. You know, what does it feel like to play a high APM movement based game like GunZ that is very strategic and technical? And to me, this is what that is. So thanks for watching. If you guys want to subscribe, you can. I don't really post a lot on YouTube, but you can. Check out my Patreon. Link will be in the description. I'll probably try to put some kind of iCard up or something. And thank you for watching. Alright, goodbye.